Hello, welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host David, and in today's game we have Sons of Horus versus Raven Guard with Custodes allies. I would like to welcome my guests. We have Barnaby and Neil. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
Really great to see you both. Now, Neil, you've been back. What? This is your second time in a month.
Second time in a month. Yes, 4 weeks ago I was in. Yeah.
That's keen, isn't it?
It's keen. Yeah.
How's the wife holding up?
Yes. Loosely supportive.
Yeah. Good stuff. So the last time we saw you against your friend Ben with Militia.
That's right. I had salamanders.
Of course, yeah. So this time you're bringing the Raven Guard for us.
I am, yes.
And you've brought some dirty allies, haven't you?
I bought some friendly allies. Dirty?
Friendly allies.
Friendly allies, yeah. There's literally no higher ranking law enforcement officer in the Imperium than Constantine of Aldor. So we'll see how he performs today.
Hell. And Barnaby, welcome to the channel. Really nice to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's good to be on.
Great, and you've brought us some really lovely Sons of Horus, haven't you? We love Sons of Horus, so...
Yeah, led by the War Master himself.
Yes.
It's a fairly elite list. Got a lot of punch, but then Neil's really brought out all the toys as well. So
yes. We also got Abaddon as well, I think.
Yeah, and we've got Abaddon.
So I'll hear no more Valdor complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a more Naval kind of duo there. It's good.
Good.
So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. We've got Horus, we've got Valdor. I really want to see them face off against each other. Have they ever met on the battlefield before with you two guys? Or
we never played, have we?
No, we've not played.
Known each other for a while now, but we've not managed to get a game in, mostly due to the C word. It's not Barnaby, obviously. Yeah, it's not managed to make it happen yet, so this will be good.
My particular Horus model has smacked down many of Valdor in the past, though. So
right, so the Retribution
just another to add to the list.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Challenge accepted. I like it. Good stuff. All right, so let's just have a quick look at the list. I think it's worth mentioning that this is perhaps a bit of the harder edge of the 3K list we've seen for a while. Valdor is a massive character with a load of rules. He's very capable in combat, but then so is Horus. But Horus brings a whole new level of game to the table. So I'm quite excited to see these two the face off. Neil, you've brought a lot of robots in support of your Raven Guard, though, haven't you?
I have, yes. The Brethren of Iron, Right of War. I've never got to use them really, so I thought it'd be time to give them a rollout. Once I knew I was playing Barnaby and he was going to be bringing some toys himself, I thought, well, let's get them in. And thanks to the Warlord trait, I had some infiltrating shenanigans as well, so they're really, really close. So hopefully they can do some damage before that nasty Sicaran Arcus shoots them off the table.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think, Barnaby, you've got, as you mentioned earlier, you've got a list that's got some serious punch in this, haven't you? Both range and close combat?
Yeah, so Horus and a whole load of Justarin will be coming in through Deep Strike. That's my sort of tip of a spear, close combat. But then to add to that, we've got a load of low AP, firepower, a little bit of plasma in there, and some high strength weapons.
A little bit of plasma.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, we've got dual laser Vindi, which is really, really cool. And they're positioned quite high on the battlefield, to pick off some units as they come down. But I think it really will be interesting to see how the Sons of Horus deal with those monstrous creatures. We've got 2 Domitar, 3 Castellax, and 3 Thalax, I think
6
it is.
Thalax.
Excuse me, 6 Thalax, yeah. So quite excited to see that. I think the Arcus... well, first of all, let's talk about the Arcus. Barnaby, I commend you for not taking the anti-mechanic and warhead rounds on your...
As do I.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to tailor my list just to kill robots, so thought it'd be a bit of a fairer fight.
Yeah. Appreciated.
It's very good of you, but you have got Sky Spear to try to take out that pesky Fire Raptor, though, right?
I just auto-include those because they're not that expensive and, great range capability. Or anti-air.
And we're interested to see that the Ripple Fire as well, to see if that comes into play. If we look at deployment, Neil, tell us a little bit about how you've deployed. You've got a lot of outflanking bits and bobs, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've gone for a Vanguard strike. I've decided to keep most of my units actually have reserve or outflank rules, so they're going to start off the table. The Custodians have started on the table, and everything else I had for Raven Guard wise, aside from the Rhino down the end here, was infiltrating. Because the Warlord trait, I got to infiltrate 3 non-vehicle units. So, being the nice, ungentlemanly player I am, I picked the robots. So they're very, very close to Barnaby's lines currently.
Death robots coming in on the flank.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. But you've got a Bastion full of Strength A, AP3 weaponry pointing right down at those models. So there's a reasonable chance you might be all right.
Especially with the C.
Yeah, especially Horus has got 4 up Cs, so we're looking to do that.
Yeah. And so just talk to me about your deployment. You know, you've got some heavy firepower up on kind of the rocky plateau. You've got that supported by the missile launchers in the bastion, and you've got Horus deep striking. What about Abaddon? What's he up to?
So Abaddon also is up there on the Vengeful Spirit. He's got his own retinue of Justerin, and he too will be deep striking in. Hopefully with Horus at the same time. So yeah, we'll have to see.
The old 1-2 punch will be interesting. I'm also keen to see where Horus goes with Justerin. Obviously, he doesn't scatter when he deep strikes, so I think it'll be really, really tactical about where Horus is deployed with his Justerin Terminators. So that'll be very, very cool. If we have a quick look at the board, I used the base with all the rock and the aggregate from last week's game, but then I just put this really weird, wild structure with all the sort of the gantries and the silos and moved the bastions out. And I did move a couple of the rocks. I did want to do a board video, but I was really pushed for time last night and just didn't get an opportunity to. Plus, Neil and I went out for a lovely meal in Cambridge, which was nice. Had a few beers and a chit chat.
Brilliant tie, yeah.
It was all right.
Lovely.
We've got Boris to thank for that. Boris recommended the restaurant.
Good job, Boris.
And Barnaby, you were in Cambridge as well last night, weren't you? Visiting family?
Yeah, so my sister's been here for a few years and finally had a good enough excuse to come down. So yeah, stayed in hers, had a takeaway, you know, nice to catch up, played a bit of D&D with her and her boyfriend. So yeah,
cool.
All round a good weekend so far.
Good stuff. So we are prepped, primed, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go. There's one final thing to do. We need to see if the Sons of Horus can seize the initiative from the Raven Guard. Barnaby, what are your chances?
So it's half and half, although I've got my lucky dice out.
Literally changed dice for this.
Changed dice for it, so hopefully it performs.
Right, we're back ready to go for the C's. Again, bad planning. I think I've done this like a million times now. Barnaby, it's over to you. What do you got?
Right, Revolt.
A 3.
No C's.
What is on now?
Let's do it. Here we go.
All right, we'll go into Raven Guard turn 1.
3,000 points of Raven Guard, led by a Legion Praetor with the Brethren of Iron Rite of War. Praetor has the Master of Ambush Warlord trait, and the Raven Guard are joined by a detachment of Legio Custodes led by Constantine Valdor. First HQ choice for the Raven Guard, Legion Praetor, on a Space Marine bike with Artificer Armour, Melter Bombs, an Iron Halo and a Paragon Blade. Second HQ choice for the Raven Guard, as per the restrictions of the Brethren of Iron Rite of War, is a Forge Lord with Artificer Armour, Refractor Field and Cortex Controller. First and only elite choice for the Raven Guard, 2 Domitar class battle automata armed with graviton hammers and missile launchers. First troops choice for the Raven Guard, Castellax class battle automata maniple armed with multi-melters, bolt guns, power blades and enhanced targeting arrays. Second troops choice for the Raven Guard, a Legion tactical support squad armed with Volkite calivers. Final troops choice for the Raven Guard, 2 identical Legion tactical squads, the sergeants are armed with Artificer armour and bolters. The squads have Legion of Exceller and both units are in Rhinos with Dozer blades. First fast attack choice for the Raven Guard, a Javelin attack speeder armed with twin-link las cannon and a pintle-mounted multi-melter. Second fast attack choice for the Raven Guard, a Legion Outrider squad of 4 bikes, all armed with twin-link bolters and melter bombs. First heavy support choice for the Raven Guard, a Fire Raptor gunship with turret-mounted autocannons, Hellstrike missiles and armoured ceramite. Second heavy support choice for the Raven Guard, a Thalax cohort with 6 Thalax, utilising the Ferox augment, and they are armed with heavy chain blades and lightning guns. Leading the allied detachment of Custodes is Constantine Valdor himself, armed with the Apollonian Spear and a Hypervelocity Bolter. One and only troop choice for the Legio Custodes is a unit of Custodian Guard, 3 models all armed with Guardian Spears. Fast attack choice for the Legio Custodes is a squad of 3 Venatari armed with Tarsus Bucklers and Kinetic Destroyers.
We have 3,000 points of Sons of Horus running the Long March Rite of War, led by the War Master Horus himself. Leading the Sons of Horus is Horus himself. He's equipped with the War Master's Talon, World Breaker, and the Serpent Scaled Armour. The first and only headquarters slot is the War Master's Lieutenant Abaddon. He is equipped with the Justerin Warplate, Mastercraft Power Fist, and is joined by 6 Justerin Terminators. Abaddon's retinue consists of 6 Justerin Terminators. They're equipped with 2 Chain Fists, 2 Power Fists, and a Heavy Flamer in the squad. The first troop's choice is a 6-man Justerin Terminator squad. They're equipped with 3 Chain Fists, 2 Power Fists, and a Heavy Flamer. The second troop's choice is a Legion Veteran squad. These are equipped with combi plasma bolters. They're riding in a Legion Rhino with a dozer blade, and the sergeant has artificer armor and a power fist. The second squad also has melter bombs. The third troop choice is another Legion veteran squad. These are equipped with melter bombs. They're riding in the Legion Rhino with a dozer blade, and the sergeant has artificer armor and a power fist. The fourth troops choice is a Legion support squad. There are 10 in the squad, equipped with Volkite calibers, and the sergeant has artificer armor. The first heavy support squad is a 10-man Legion heavy support squad, equipped with missile launchers, and the sergeant has artificer armor. The second heavy support choice is a Sakaran Arcus strike tank. This has Sky Spear warheads and a heavy bolter. The final heavy support choice is a squadron of 2 Legion laser destroyer vindicators. They're equipped with a laser destroyer array.
Turn 1 movement for the Raven Guard. The Castellax and Forge Lord have shuffled down from their rocky position after infiltrating, nice and close to the Volkites and the Sakaran Arcus. The Domitar have also shuffled forward next to them. Valdor and his unit of Legio Custodes have moved down the rock, moved through cover roll, rolled a 4, so not terribly good, but hopefully we'll run them in a second. The Volkite support squad above on top of the structure haven't moved. We're now going to shoot shortly at the Sons of Horus Volkite squad. The Custodes Venatari squad have moved forward, trying to stay in a bit of cover because we've got very short range weapons. And the Rhino at the leading edge of the battlefield here has just shuffled around out of sight of the Vindicators. Turn 1 shooting phase for the Raven Guard. A couple of run moves to do first. The Venatari, having jumped into some cover there, stumbled after rolling a 1. Didn't go very far at all. Valdor's unit, however, rolled a 6 for their run moves, so have shuffled under the gantry there, down towards the Sons of Horus lines. Continuing turn 1 shooting phase for the Raven Guard, the Volkite support squad is now going to fire at the Sons of Horus Volkite squad. We have 10 shots from the Volkite calibers, so we're hitting on 3s. We'll take that, that's pretty good. Yeah, just 1 miss, no 2 misses, beg your pardon, 2 misses. So you've got 8 hits.
Yeah, I've got a nice 3-up armor save, so needing that.
And we're going to be wounding on 2s as it's strength 6. Mighty 7 wounds there.
7 wounds.
7 armor saves, please. Follow me.
Okay, I've got 2 or 3 in front of my sergeant, so I'll do 3 at a time. So 1's down, another 2, fine, and then the last 2. Yeah.
And thanks to Deflagrate, that one that's down causes an additional wound, so we'll roll that now. Which does
additional wound, but it's saved.
Shooting now for the Raven Guard Castellax. After a bit of deliberation, we've elected to shoot at the Sakaran Arcus because it's a mighty, mighty threat. Unfortunately out of melter range, but we've still got 3 shots hitting on 2s because of enhanced targeting arrays, which we hit. And we need 4s to glance. Whoa, double pens, love that.
This is not ideal.
+2 for damage because of the AP1. Oh, okay. So just a crew shaken and a crew, weapon destroyed.
Weapon destroyed, time to roll.
Cool, so 1 to 3 heavy bolter, 4, 5 and 6 the launcher.
Oh,
launcher's gone.
Launcher, happy days.
The threat is destroyed.
That is good. Moving on to the Domitar Automata. We're out of range of anything with the Graviton Flamers, so we fired missile launchers, Ignis Frag missiles at the missile launcher squad in top of the Bastion. Unfortunately, two wild scatters means we hit absolutely nobody. End of turn 1 for the Raven Guard. Mixed bag there. I think taking out the Arcus turret is certainly a big, big plus because I was very worried about the ripple fire and the threat to the Fire Raptor. Missing the missile launcher squad completely was a bit of a pain because that's going to hurt in a minute when they fire back. Overall okay. Good start, I think.
Sons of Horus, turn 1 movement. So the Rhino full of combi plasma vets just crept forward into the midfield. The laser vindicators pivoted. One of them moved 6 to respond to the threat of a Castellax. The Volkite squad moved back. They rolled 5, so they're keeping well away from those death robots. The Sakaran Arcus, now fairly useless, has just come in to block a bit of terrain. Missile launcher squads, prime position, overwatching the battlefield. They've stayed still, looking to get some shots down on the robots below. Sons of Horus, turn 1 shooting. The laser vindicators are firing at the Castellax. So one of them will be overcharging for 3 shots. The other moved only gets its single. So rolling now. All hit. Choose to wound. And that is 3 wounds.
Saving throw for the Castellax. We're on to the Atomantic Shielding. We need 5 ups. Okay, we save 1. We do take 2 wounds though, to the closest model.
Okay, and I now roll to see if I lose a whole point for the overcharge. At 1, we've lost a whole point, so one of them is down to 2. So next target is the Domitar, and they're being fired at by the Legion Heavy Support Squad. They've got 10 shots, they hit on 3s, and they wound on 3s. Because of the Rite of War, I get to reroll 1s on my first turn. 1 miss, 1 reroll. So we've got 8 hits.
Strength 8, toughness 7.
7 wounds, and that goes straight through to
Ouch,
the
not happy with that. Okay, I'm just going to shove your dice out of the way,
Yeah.
Mark. So, on to Invulnerables. Atomantic Shielding to the rescue. 5 ups, please. Ouch, just 1. So that causes a whopping 6 wounds.
So next up on the shooting, the Sons of Horus Tactical Support Squad fired 20 shots of Volkite at the Domitar. They scored 15 hits, and of those 15, 7 wounds.
Now Domitar gets to roll a save. Thankfully it doesn't go straight to the armour, so we are on our armour save of 3 up. It's not enough though, he's gone down.
Does the Domitar explode on a roll of a 6?
He does not.
The Sakaran Arcus snap fired at the Venatari, but all shots bounced off and missed. Then the Transport, inside the Rhino, 2 took pot shots of the Venatari, 1 hit but failed to wound. And then the Bolter on top hit, wounded, but it was saved by their armour save. Sons of Horus, end of turn 1. The combined firepower of the War Master's Legion managed to take down the Domitar. They're awaiting Horus's reinforcements from below, looking forward to getting in close with the Raven Guard.
Turn 2 movement for the Raven Guard. The Javelin Speeder has come on using outflank and is pointed at the rear of the Vindicators. The second Raven Guard Rhino has moved on from the same board edge and is behind the first Rhino. The Venatari have jumped out of their cover position and towards the Sons of Horus Rhino full of vets. The Volkite support squad of the Raven Guard has remained stationary and is going to hopefully shoot at the Sons of Horus Volkite squad. The Thalax have teleported down from orbit and have deep struck into the centre of the battle. Hopefully we'll do some damage to them very shortly. The Castellax and Forgelord have moved forward. I'm going to try and get into these Volkite support marines. See how that goes. Valdor and his squad of Custodies have moved down and they're going to have to run again to try and get a bit closer to the action. And the Fire Raptor has also flown on from reserve and now has a lovely multitude of targets to shoot at. Turn 2 shooting for the Raven Guard. We're going to begin with the Javelin. The multi-belter, is out of range unfortunately, but the las cannon is very much in range. So we're going to take a shot at this Vindicator squadron. We have hit on a 3. The rear arm of the Vindicator is 10. So we're going to go for a penetration roll of 3+. Oh, sadly nothing.
So that's a glance, strength 9.
Oh, glance, beg your pardon, sorry.
And that's 1 whole point caused.
Continuing shooting for the Raven Guard, we move to the Venatari, who are going to fire their kinetic destroyers at the Sons of Horus Rhino. Assault 2, master crafted, and 12-inch range means we need choose. Master crafted. 5 hits at strength 7. Front arm of the Rhino is 11, so we're looking for 4s. Oh, just a 2, unfortunately. 1 penetrating hit though. Crew shaken. Just correction for the damage roll there against the Rhino. It was in fact 2 penetrating hits, but the damage roll resulted in the same thing, which was a crew shaken result. Next up we have the Raven Guard Fire Raptor. We've shot the turret-mounted autocannon battery on the left-hand side at the missile squad. 4 hits, 4 wounds, but unfortunately all the saves were passed. Fared better was the Avenger bolt cannon, which fired at the Volkite support squad. We scored 7 hits, 7 wounds. 1 save was passed with the sergeant, but then he died, so that removed 6 models in total from that unit. And now we're going to fire the 4 Hellstrike missiles at that Vindicator squadron at the back. So we're hitting on 2, thanks to Shaking Run. We have 4 hits, strength 8, armor 13, and we have a reroll for Sunder. So that's a reroll for Sunder. Okay, so those. Okay, so we have 2 penetrating hits after all that at AP2. So the first Vindicator's dead anyway, I think, because he's on 1 hull point.
Yeah.
So the next one, okay, takes a hull point and is crew shaken. Continuing shooting for the Raven Guard, Valdor and his Custodes unit have to run again. Rolled a 4, so a little bit closer to the Sons of Horus. Need to get them involved sooner rather than later, I think. The Thalax are now going to shoot their lightning guns at the missile squad, the impervious missile squad on top of the bastion. Only 3 are in range, so we're going to have a pot shot at them now. 3 hits, and we have Shred and Rending. So we have 1 rend, and that's a wound anyway. So 2 wounds, 1 rending hit, please.
Okay, so which would you like me to take first?
6 standard hits first.
Standard hits. 1's down, and then the 4 up cover save. Reroll. Passed.
Kill 1. Raven Guard shooting continues now, moving on to the Castellax. There's been a lot of deliberation around this shot, so we've decided that 2 multi-melters can shoot, and that the intervening models are obscuring 25%, so the Vindicator will get a cover save. -1 to it, though, because of the enhanced and targeting arrays of the Castellax. So, multi-melters hitting on 2s. 2 hits, it's good news. We're not in melter range, so we want 5 to glance. Just the 1 glance, and 1 cover save with 5
up.
No, so it does take a whole point of damage. Final act of the Raven Guard shooting phase for turn 2 was the Volkite support squad firing at the Sons of Horus Rhino full of vets, successfully taking the last hull point and causing them to disembark out the back. Unfortunately, this does mean I think the Venator are going to be out of charge range, but we're going to have a go anyway. Raven Guard turned to assault phase. The Venatori did attempt to charge the Sons of Horus veterans, unfortunately getting nowhere near a 12, so didn't manage to do that, and they're returning Overwatch fire. 9 shots and all missed, unfortunately. The Thalax then did their thrust move in the assault phase, moving 7 inches, just popping up onto the shelf there and hopefully gaining a bit of a cover save if the missile launchers decide to fire down through the Arcus. End of turn 2 for the Raven Guard. Very middling turn, I think. Some good things happened. The Vindicator laser destroyer going up was helpful, as was thinning out the Sons of Horus Volkite support squad. But those missile launchers are still there and they are looming large, as is the Shadow of Horus, who I'm sure is going to come down very, very soon.
Turn 2, Sons of Horus movement. On the reserve rolls, Abaddon and his Justarin squad came in. They managed to scatter onto some terrain, so we've got a few checks to take for them. The veteran squad moved to the right, getting onto the high cover. Horus and his Justarin bodyguard came in behind the Venatori. And then in the far left corner of the board, another veteran squad in a Rhino came into play. The Volkite support squad moved back, looking to get a few more shots before getting attacked by the carnage of the tide of mech robots. The laser Vindicator pivoted to get better shot at the incoming Fire Raptor. The Volkite support squad moved back 6 inches to get a bit more shooting distance at the tide of killer robots coming towards them. Thankfully, no damage was taken by the Justarin for deep striking into dangerous terrain. Sons of Horus, turn 2, shooting phase. First up, we have the lone Legion Vindicator. The laser destroyer is going to snap fire at the Fire Raptor. Fire Raptor's jinking?
Fire Raptor is going to jink, yes.
Okay, firing 3 shots, twin linked, so looking for 6s here. All miss, we re-roll, and nothing hit.
And relax.
Next up on the shooting, Sons of Horus, missile launcher squad, they're firing 9 shots at the Castellax, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. A few misses in there. 5 hit, and then 4 wounds. No, sorry, 3 wounds.
3 wounds, okay. 3 saves on the automatic shielding of 5+. We make 2, we take 1 wound.
Next up, the Legion Tactical Support Squad moved back 6. Thanks to the long march, Rite of War, they have Relentless, so they got to fire at full ballistic skill. Hit 4 times, 2 wounds, but both were saved by Neil's armour. Next up for the shooting, Abaddon's Justerin squad got 2 wounds with a heavy flamer, and then a further 3 with the combi bolters, for a total of 5 on the Venatari.
So 5 armor saves to the Venatari on 3s. Oh, we only failed 1. That's not bad. 1 wound.
Yeah, we'll take it. Next up on the shooting, Horus and his Justerin unleash their wrath upon the Venatari. They managed to get 8 wounds on the squad, of which 4 wounds were failed, leaving them just with 1 Venatari left. Final shooting of the phase, the Sons of Horus veteran squad fired their bolters, 18 shots, of which 17 hit. They managed to wound 7 times, and Neil failed 2 armor saves to remove the Venatari squad. So we realised the actual final shooting of the round was the still going Sons of Horus Sakaar and Arcus. It fired its heavy bolt into the phalanx, all 3 hits, forced a wound, wounded 3 times, and then Neil failed all of his feel no pains. So 1 phalanx removed. Very happy with that shooting. Sons of Horus, end of turn 2. The War Master and his lieutenant have come down. They've altered the battle space, pulling the fight across the board. They're shooting together, managed to eviscerate some of the custodies, and now they're gearing up for a good old scrap with the mech robots that are coming in with Valdor.
Raven Guard turn 3 movement. The Praetor and his Outrider squad unfortunately failed their reserve roll again, so they'll be coming on automatically next turn. The Castellax have moved up in order to try and shoot and then hopefully get a good charge onto the missile launcher squad in top of the Bastion. We definitely need that because they are something of a pest at the moment. The Forge Lord has run off by himself to try and wreck that Arcus with the servo arm, so hopefully that will happen. The Thalax have used their jetpacks to fly up, and they're going to go straight into that Vindicator laser destroyer because we definitely don't want him to be shooting anymore. The Fire Raptor has flown off into ongoing reserves as it jinked anyway. Hopefully that'll be useful when it comes back on. Valdor and his unit of Custodes have moved towards the mighty Horus himself. I'm sure we're going to see that dust up very, very soon. The Volkite support squad remain stationary. They're going to do some shooting. The Raven Guard Rhino with a tactical squad have gone to block the Sons of Horus veteran squad in the Rhino, which outflanked. The second Rhino has moved up onto the Plateau Rock just because it's near an objective and there's a tactical squad in there, even though I know Abaddon is very, very close. And the Javelin has hopped up onto the rocks to try and shoot the Justerin with las cannons. Turn 2 shooting phase for the Raven Guard. We begin with the Volkite support squad, who fired their Volkite calibers at the Sons of Horus veteran squad across the canyon. Unfortunately, only 5 hits, but because of some spectacularly bad rolling from the Sons of Horus, that resulted in 3 wounds, and the Deflagate rule caused 3 more wounds, and we ended up killing 5, including the Sergeant. Moving on to the Castellax shooting. The 2 Castellax that could see the missile launcher squad on the top of the Bastion fired multi-melters and bolters. 2 multi-melters hit and wounded. Of the 8 bolter shots, we only got 1 wound. The Sons of Horus saved the multi-melter shots on a cover save, but the Sergeant unfortunately didn't look out, sir, and rolled a 1, so the bolter killed him. Next for the Raven Guard, the Thalax armed with lightning guns fired at the Vindicator laser destroyer that's remaining with a 1 hull point. Only got 2 hits and failed to glance the armour, so we're going to have to do it in the assault phase now. Now moving down to the canyon for Valdor and the Custodes unit, firing at Horus's unit with the Justerin. Unfortunately, Valdor's hypervelocity bolter was out of range by 1 inch, so we moved to the Guardian bolters, which scored 6 hits, did 4 wounds, and unfortunately all were saved by the Justerin. Next shooting for the Raven Guard, the 2 Rhinos, the one blocking the Sons of Horus Rhino snapshot at Horus's Justerin, failed to hit unfortunately. The second Rhino fired at Abaddon's Justerin, did score a hit but failed to wound. Final act of the Raven Guard shooting phase. Some good news, the Javelin opened up with its las cannon and multi-melter into Abaddon's Justerin and managed to kill 2 of them. Raven Guard assault phase turn 3. Mixed bag, very frustrating mixed bag. The Castellax needed a 6-inch charge to climb up the Bastion and murder the missile launchers, and they rolled a 5. So that will not be happening this turn, and I expect next turn they're going to get shot up a lot. The Forge Lord did, however, make a 4-inch charge to the back of the Arcus, and hopefully with the servo arm it can do enough damage to take the last hull point. And the Thalax made their charge into the Vindicator laser destroyer with their rending chain blades. Hopefully that'll finish that off as well. Combat between the Raven Guard Forge Lord and the Sakaar and Arcus. Unfortunately, the single hit from the servo arm rolled a pitiful 3 despite auto hitting, so failed to actually do any damage. The Thalax charging into the Vindicator with the Rage special rule granted to them with the Ferox augment killed the Vindicator on the very first dice roll, removing the last hull point. So that is now wrecked. End of turn 3 for the Raven Guard. Very frustrating turn. Very nice to kill some Jesterian with the Javelin Landspeeder. That was good. And the Volkite squad wiping out half of the Jesterian. The veterans, Sons of Plasma Vets, was great as well. I'm glad the Vindicator laser's been removed, but unfortunately that Arcus is still there. And those Castellax failing that charge, I think, is going to cost. So we'll see how that goes next turn.
Sons of Horus, turn 3 movement. The Rhino came down from the rocks and is making a dash across the desert floor. Abaddon and his Justerin move through cover and are looking to charge the Raven Guard Rhino. Horus and his cronies are moving slowly across the board, looking to get into a fight with Valdor. The Legion Veteran Squad, with Combi Plasma are looking to get revenge on the laser destroyers, and then the Volkite Tactical Squad have moved up. Thankfully, we've got Relentless, and we're looking to get some shots onto the other Volkite squad. The missiles in the tower have repositioned, looking to get a few more shots down on the Castellax below. And finally, the Skarn Arcus has moved forward an inch out of combat, looking to use its heavy bolter on some Custodes. Sons of Horus, turn 3, shooting phase. The Legion Combi Plasma Veterans took aim at the Thalax. They got 9 hits and scored 7 wounds. Of the 7, all of the Feel No Pains were failed, deleting 2 Thalax and wounding 1. The Volkite Support Squad took aim at their counterparts. They managed to score 3 wounds. The Sergeant failed his wound, so he died with 1 other. Defligate ensued, and then 2 more were removed. Next up, shooting. The Missile Launcher Squad fired 5 times into the Castellax, hit 4 times, and wounded twice. Neil failed both saves, taking 2 wounds. Next up for the Sons of Horus, the heavy bolt on the Skarn Arcus unleashed into the back of the Custodes, hitting 3 times, wounding twice, but Neil saved both. At the end of the shooting phase, both the Thalax and the Volkite Support Squad passed the leadership tests. Sons of Horus, turn 3, assault phase. Abaddon and his Justerin, needing a 5-inch charge, rolled an massive 11 and are in against the Legion Rhino. The Plasma support vets needed a 10-inch charge, but flopped coming up against the Thalax. And then the big one, Horus and his Justerin versus Valdor. It's a 9-inch charge. They did have fleet, however, they rolled an incredible double 6 to get into combat. Combat between Abaddon and his Justerin and the Rhino. Despite a mass number of penetrating hits, the Rhino didn't explode, but it was victory for the Sons of Horus.
After the Rhino transport was destroyed by Abaddon and Justerin, the Tactical Squad have performed an emergency disembarkation and are hoping and praying that they survive the next turn.
Combat between Horus and Valdor and their 2 squads of Justerin and Custodes Spear Guards. Initiative step 6, Horus has got 7 attacks on the charge. He is using 5 at initiative with his claw against Valdor now. At the start of the combat, Horus issued a challenge which was accepted by Valdor. 5 attacks on the claw, weapon skill 8, your weapon skill
7.
7, so hitting on 3s, 1 miss. Strength 7, toughness 6.
Toughness 5.
Toughness 5, so wounding on 2s with shred. So 2 rerolls. We've got 3 wounds, invulnerable saves on Valdor.
So Valdor has an Iron Halo, so we'll take that for us. Okay, we fail 1, pass 2.
Thanks to Disabling Strike, Valdor having taken a wound from Horus, he will now be -1 strength and -1 weapon skill in the next round of combat.
So Valdor strikes back. Weapon skill 7. He does have 6 attacks thanks to the counter attack special rule. We're going to be hitting Horus on 4s. Okay, just 3 right down the middle. Good. And then toughness
6.
Toughness 6. So we're also wounding on 4s because we didn't charge in this turn. That is 3 wounds though, so Horus needs to use his invulnerable save.
So 3 up invulnerables.
Oh, 2 wounds to Horus. Valdor's lightning blows rule unfortunately didn't generate any additional hits onto Horus. Initiative step 5, the Custodian Guard attack the Justarian in combat. 6 hits, 2 for each Custodes, and we're looking for 4s as they have identical weapon skill, so 4 pluses required. 2 6s, however, lightning blows just generate additional attacks, so 2 more attacks come in, 1 of which hits, so we've got 3 right down the middle so far, and we are strength 5, toughness 4 for the Justarian, so we're on 3s. That is 3 wounds. Unfortunately, Custodes didn't charge, so it's only AP 3, so the Justarian now get to make their save.
I'll take those 3 armor saves now. 2 ups. Take a wound. Right, initiative step 1. Horus is striking back Valdor with World Breaker, so he's saved 2 attacks. Initiative 1, strength 10. This is mastercrafted, so he needs 3s to hit with a reroll. Both hit, 2s to wound, and it is concussive as well. 2 wounds on Valdor.
Valdor saves on his Iron Halo, 4 pluses required. Takes 1 hit, 1 wound.
Power axes at initiative step 1. We have 6 attacks, hitting on 4s as their equal weapon skill. 5 hits. We are strength 6 on the charge as we have furious charge, so we're looking for 3s to wound. 1 wound.
And 1 refractor field save of 5 plus. Made.
More at initiative step 1 now. We have 2 power fists and 2 chain fists. So these are hitting on 4s. Plenty of 1s in there. So that's a total of 7 hits. 2s to wound. 6 wounds on the Custodes.
6 Hail Mary refractor field saves coming up. Ready? Okay, we made 3.
End of a combat phase. Valdor and Pals took 5 wounds versus 3 suffered by the Sons of Horus. At the end of the phase, Valdor and Horus are both on 4 wounds. However, Valdor is now concussed and he is -1 strength and -1 weapon skill for the next round and the remainder of the game. It will not die from Horus roll. Rolled a 2, so no wounds gained.
Raven Guard, turn 4 movement phase. The Praetor and attached Outrider squad have now come on from reserves. They are eyeing up the remaining Volkite Tactical Support Marines. The Castellax have shuffled around into position, hoping to get a line of sight on the Missile Launcher squad at the top of the Bastion. The Forge Lord has moved in, ready to charge and try once again to take the last hull point off that Sikaran Arcus with the servo arm. The Thalax have moved through the gap of the Burning Vindicators. They are very much going to finish off those veterans now, we hope. The Fire Raptor has come on from ongoing reserves and has a good line of sight now to Abaddon's unit and the veterans next to the Thalax. The lone Raven Guard Tactical Support Room is Volkite. Rolled a pitiful 1 and 2 for his move through cover to try and get down inside the building, so he's up there out in no man's land again. The Javelin has just shuffled round the Burning Rhino, hopefully to get a shot at Abaddon's Justarian unit with the las cannon and multi-melter again. The tactical squad that disembarked from the Burning Wreck last turn have repositioned in order to shoot Abaddon's unit, and the Raven Guard Rhino with the tactical squad has backed away from the Sons of Horus Rhino and is in a position now to hopefully score that objective. Raven Guard turn 4 shooting phase. The Castellax fired everything they had at the Missile Launcher squad in the Bastion. The multi-melters unfortunately only caused 1 wound, but it did kill the lead Marine. The bolters then fired from all the hits, only managing 4 wounds, of which 2 saves were failed. So we have removed 3, which hopefully will result in a decent leadership check now. Moving on to the Raven Guard lone Volkite support Marine. Having moved not very far, he decided to snap fire at the opposing Volkite squad, unfortunately missed both his shots. Next to fire for the Raven Guard, the Praetor and his Outrider unit opened up with their bolters at the Sons of Horus Volkite support squad. A massive 10 hits, 5 wounds, and then 3 saves were failed, so that is the unit wiped. Next up, moving to the Raven Guard Fire Raptor. The turret-mounted autocannon battery has fired at the missile launcher squad on the top of the bastion, scoring 4 hits and 4 wounds. 2 saves were failed, so that has now been whittled down to just 3. The Fire Raptor's other turret-mounted autocannon and Avenger bolt cannon fired into Abaddon's unit. Caused quite a few hits, but unfortunately the wound rolls was pretty appalling, so I don't know who's on gunner duty that day. But only 3 wounds went through, and Abaddon's unit saved them all. Moving on to the Javelin, determined to show the Fire Raptor how it's done, fired the las cannon and multi-melter at Abaddon's unit. 2 hits, 2 wounds. First save was passed, but the second save was failed, so that's another one killed. Next, the Raven Guard Tactical Squad from the destroyed Rhino fired their bolters into Abaddon's unit. 16 shots. Everything was only caused 5 wounds, but that wasn't enough to kill one of them. 2 saves were failed. Next, the Thalax Support Squad fired their lightning guns at the remaining Sons of Horus veterans. 3 hits, 3 wounds. One was rending, which killed one, but the other 2 passed their armor safe. Raven Guard turned for assault phase. The Forge Lord has made his monumental 1-inch charge into the back of the Sakaran Arcus, and hopefully that is going to be wrecked very shortly. Moving over to the Thalax, they completed their charge into the Sons of Horus veterans, who did fire Overwatch, scored 3 hits but no wounds. And thanks to Raid, there's going to be a lot of attacks coming now. Combat between the Thalax and the Sons of Horus veterans.
Sons of Horus veterans had 12 attacks, scored 10 hits, of which 5 wounded. Neil rolled 3 failed saves, so 1 Thalax was removed.
Feel no pain rolls were also failed. Now move to initiative step 2 for the Thalax, who have charged in. They have Rage as well, so they have 4 attacks each. So we're going to roll 2 hits. It's not bad, that's 4 hits. And then we are looking for 3s to wound? 2s to wound, sorry. 2s to wound. 3 wounds, no rending, but we do have re-roll.
So 3 wounds, 1 dies.
Unbelievably and unfortunately, the Thalax did lose combat against the vets, but they are stubborn, so they pass the leadership test on the 7 and remain locked in combat. Combat between the Forge Lord and the Sakaran Arcus. Although we did hit with the server arm, once again we failed to glance or pens, so now I think next time we're going to have to bring something bigger over to do some damage. Moving on to the big melee combat between Valdor's unit and Horus's unit. Horus has initiative as Valdor was concussed from the last turn.
Horus is going to use 5 of his 6 attacks, striking with his claw at initiative, and he's going to save 1 for initiative step 1 with Worldwaker. Rolls awfully, missed 4 times, so we've got 1 hit. We need a 2 to wound with Shred. Wounds.
And Valdor has an Iron Halo save, which he passes. Good stuff. Next at initiative step 5, the Custodian Guard strike with their Guardian Spears. 4 attacks now, because 1 died in the last round, so we are looking for 4s as we have equal weapon skill to Just Erin. So 3 hits, that's pretty good, good start, and then 3s to wound. Just the 2 wounds.
2 wounds on the armor saves. Both fine.
Next, initiative 1 step in the challenge, Valdor is going to strike Horus. Now just the 5 attacks, so we're going for
4s to hit.
4s to hit. Ouch. Painfully, that is just the 1 hit, but it is a lightning blow, so we're getting an additional attack, which still doesn't hit, and 5s to wound. Wow, that was an awful lot of 1s.
Valdor flops out.
A sad face now.
Horus strikes back with Worldwaker. He needs a 3 to hit, but this is also mastercrafted. Hits, 2 to wound. He's wounded.
And a Iron Halo save for Valdor. Passed.
Initiative step 1, just staring power axes. 4 attacks, hitting on 4s. We've got 2 hits, and then 4s to wound. 1 wound.
Refractor field save, 5+. No, failed, so do take a wound and lose another Custodian.
More at initiative step 1, with Just Erin with power fists. So 8 attacks. We have 6 hits. We need 2s to wound. 6 wounds.
Need more dice. So we have refractor field saves. Okay, refractor field saves on 5+, 2 at a time. So 1 is made. Okay, so the Custodian is dead, and now 3 saves onto Constantine Valdor. 2 go through, and 1 is saved. End of Raven Guard assault phase and end of the turn. Combat is not going well. all the custodians are now dead, and Valdor is down to his last 2 wounds. So I think, without a miracle, next turn he's going to fall. But let's see what Sons of Horus do.
Turn 4, Sons of Horus movement. The relentless heavy support squad have moved to get some shots down on the bikers below. The Sakaran Arcus, limping on, has disengaged from combat and is lining up a heavy bolter shot on the lone Volkite. The Justeran Terminator squad with Abaddon has split. Abaddon rolled awfully and got a 1 for his move through cover. However, he's going to attempt to charge the tactical squad alone, whilst leaving his 2 Justeran to have a go at the Javelin Landspeeder. The Rhino containing veterans has moved closer to get some pot shots off of the tactical squad. Sons of Horus, turn 4, shooting phase. The veterans in the Rhino shot at the Raven Guard tactical squad. We got 6 hits, however there were no wounds scored. The Sakaran Arcus with its heavy bolter took 3 shots at the Volkite support marine, hits twice, wounds twice, and then Neil failed 1 armor save. The squad has now been deleted. The Sons of Horus heavy support squad fired 3 times into the Legion Outriders below. Only 1 hit, scoring wounds, however, Neil managed to successfully jink the shot. Sons of Horus, turn 4, assault phase. The 2 Justeran made a 4-inch charge into the Javelin, whilst their boss on the other side, Abaddon, made a 7-inch charge. However, he ate 1 wound from Overwatch from the tactical squad. Abaddon charges into combat. He has 5 attacks, hitting all 5. Wounding on 4s, he managed to make all 5 as well. With his first few swings, he cut down the Sergeant and then 3 more tactical marines.
Initiative step 4 for the Raven Guard to strike back. Unfortunately, having had Abaddon decimate the front rank of troops, after a piling move, we're too far away to actually strike back. So Abaddon's now, I think, going to pile in, and then that combat will continue.
After winning the combat by 4, the Raven Guard tactical squad lost the morale check. Due to his hulking size and the rules for his Justeran warplate, Abaddon is able to sweep in advance. He rolled a 6 plus his initiative, so he's going to cut down all the tacticals. Abaddon consolidates 2 inches. Combat between 2 of the Justeran and the Grav Speeder. Despite the backwash, the 6 attacks, 3 of them scored hits. Armor Bane, Strength 9 with Furious Charge made light work of a Speeder, and it was wrecked. Combat between Sons of Horus veterans and Raven Guard Thalax. Sons of Horus had 9 attacks, of which 5 hit, 2 wounded, causing a wound. However, Feel No Pain was carried off, so there was only 1 wound in total.
The Thalax then struck the Sons of Horus veterans back. Of 4 attacks, scored 2 hits. 1 didn't wound, and 1 was a rending hit, which kills the Marine straight away. Drawn combat. Combat between Constantine Valdor and Horus's unit. Valdor is going first, as he has an initiative of 6, and Horus is saving his hits for Worldbreaker. So 5 attacks going in. Because of the Sabling Strike, Constantine Valdor is now hitting on 4s, and will be wounding on 5s. Lightning blows are in effect.
1 hit.
Roll criminally bad, much like last time.
Reshow.
So yeah, just the 1 hit, and we go for hopefully at least a wound. We do get a wound, which will need an invulnerable save from Horus.
Horus invul, 3 up. Oh, it
Do
takes
score a
another wound.
Good stuff.
Horus is down to 3 wounds. Horus strikes back with Worldbreaker, 6 attacks, looking for 3s. All hit. And 2s to wound. He scores 6 wounds on Valdor.
Done a lot of these today. Right, 6 saves. Iron Halo to the rescue. No, Valdor falls.
After butchering Valdor, Horus managed to pull off It Will Not Die roll, so he's back up onto 4 wounds. The squad of Justeran consolidated 2 inches towards Castellax, looking for a good scrap in the next phase. Sons of Horus, end of turn 4. Horus and Abaddon have put in a great shift. They've started cleaning up the Raven Guard, and now they're looking to consolidate on some objectives and kill the remaining loyalists.
Raven Guard, turn 5, movement phase. The Forge Lord has moved down behind the Sakaran, determined to take this last hold point with his servo arm. The Castellax have now had enough of trying to shoot and charge the missile squad that they have moved down and are going to plough into Horus's Justerian unit, which I think we all want to see. The Praetor and Outrider squadron have zipped forward onto the top of the rocky outcrop and are now also going to charge Horus's unit. Moving on, the Thalax remain locked in combat, and the Raven Guard Rhino passes dangerous terrain test and is zipping up the side of the mountain at the back there to try and claim that last objective on the corner. Turn 5, Raven Guard shooting phase. Beginning with the Fire Raptor, it's unloaded its Avenger Bolt Cannon and autocannon turrets into Horus's Justerian unit. The autocannons claimed 1 wound off a Justerian, but the Avenger Bolt Cannon did sterling work and took 3 wounds, killing 2 Justerian at the back. Continuing shooting for the Raven Guard, the Praetor and his Outrider unit firing their twin bolters into the Justerian. Despite jinking, they did score 3 hits, 2 wounds, and there was a double 1 roll, so they killed the lead Justerian. Moving down to the Castellax firing at Horus's Justerian unit, the bolters did good work from 12 shots, scored an immense amount of hits, but only 3 wounds, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, and they were saved. They then moved to the multi-melters, which scored 2 hits, 1 wound, and the save was failed, so that doubled out that Justerian at the front, and he is dead. Final action of the Raven Guard shooting phase, the Rhino has moved flat out, taking all the driver skill in the world to perch on the edge of that precipice there, but we are now in range of that objective for next turn. Raven Guard, turn 5 assault phase, charges. The Forge Lord has charged into the back of the Sakaran. Didn't really have far to go, which is good. But the big story is the Castellax charged in to the Justerian. The Hammer of Wrath caused a wound on the Justerian to the right-hand side. And the Praetor's bike unit also charged in, causing some Hammer of Wrath hits, but didn't cause any wounds. So now time for some chopping. Combat between the Forge Lord and the Sakaran Arcus. As you can see by the plume of smoke, finally that one servo arm has taken the last hull point off. So that is good. That's an extra victory point.
Combat between Sons of Horus veterans and Raven Guard Thalax. Out of 6 attacks from the Sons of Horus, 4 hit, 1 wounded, taking a wound off the Thalax.
The Thalax in return at initiative step 2 struck 4 times against the Sons of Horus, causing 2 wounds. 2 saves were made, and unfortunately one of them was failed, so that is drawn combat again.
Combat between Horus and his Justerian and the remaining Raven Guard. So we've got a Praetor on the bike squad in there and the Castellax. Due to Horus facing off against weapon skill 4 average enemies, he gains D3 extra attack, in which he rolled a 6. Horus has got 9 attacks here. He's splitting 7 onto his Claw and 2 on Worldbreaker. So he comes for 7 at initiative 6 now. So fairly weak rolling. He misses 4 times. He needs 2s to wound with Shred. So 3 AP2 wounds on the Predator.
3 Iron Halo saves required. Makes 2, fails 1, so he takes a wound. Initiative step 5. In the challenge, the Raven Guard Praetor on the bike is striking Horus. We have 5 attacks, 4 base and +1 for the charge. Despite Horus's disabling strike, causing -1 to the strength, that is countered by the Furious Charge for the Raven Guard bikes. So we are hitting on 4s. That's master crafted, so we reroll 1. No help. So 2 hits, and then we're wounding on 5s now. Nothing at all. Next strike at initiative 4, the remaining Outrider bikes. We are, thankfully, due to Furious Charge, going to be on strength 5, so that is very, very helpful. But we are hitting on 4s. So just the 3 hits, unfortunately, but wounding on 5s. 1 wound on Horus. 1 save required, please. Saved. Cool. Next we move to the Castellax. Thanks to the Rage special rule, when they charge in, they get 5 attacks apiece, so it's going to be 15 attacks total. We are hitting on 4s and wounding on 2s. So there's a few to take out there. Still a good spread though. And now wounding on 2s. That's good, I'll take that actually, that's really bad. So that is 6 in total. 6 invulnerable saves required.
Okay, doing 1 at a time. 1's dead. 2 dead, so 4 on Horus. There's 4 wounds left, 3 ups. Horus takes 2.
2 wounds on Horus!
So Horus is down to 2 wounds. Combat The Castellax rode in, caused 6 wounds. Of the 6 invulnerables, the Justerin failed both. Horus took 4 on his invulnerable saved, passed 2, so he's down to 2 wounds. He's got his last 2 attacks against the Raven Guard Praetor, which he's hitting with Worldbreaker now. Mastercrafted, both hit, 2s, 2 invuls.
2 Iron Halos required to save the Praetor.
And he's been insta-killed.
End of turn 5 for the Raven Guard. Horus suffered a couple of wounds there in combat, which is really, really helpful. But obviously his Primarch is fearless, so that combat is going to continue now. We're rounding into the Sons of Horus turn 5. So yeah, it's good. It's going well.
Sons of Horus, turn 5 movement. The 2 Justerin moved up to be in range of the objective. Abaddon on the far side of a rock moved 6 inches. And then the Rhino carrying the veterans moved 12, looking to grab a late game objective. Sons of Horus, turn 5 shooting. The 3 remaining missile launchers fired of a Forge Lord. 2 hit, 2 wounded, however he both saved with his Artificer armor. Sons of Horus, turn 5 combat phase. Combat between Sons of Horus veterans and Raven Guard Thalax. The combat continues with Sons of Horus scoring a wound, however the wound being saved.
Thalax returned blows, causing also 1 wound, which was also saved. So yeah, handbags at dawn.
Horus with his last 2 wounds against the Castellax and the bikes. He rolled 4 on his D3 combat attacks, so he's got 8 attacks, and he's going to put them onto the bikes. So 6 hits. He needs 2s with Shred. 4 on the reroll. 4 wounds.
It's AP2.
AP2.
Yeah, I said all that anyway.
Great news. Bike squad's been wiped. More victory points. And now Horus just has to weather the combined weight of a Castellax.
Castellax striking Horus. Hopefully with the 9 attacks now, they can bring down the War Master, who has only 2 wounds remaining. However, his weapon skill has now made it more difficult. So we have 9 attacks striking on 5s. That's good. We'll take that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That can't.
5. And then we are looking for 3s. Oh, just 2, unfortunately.
2
2
wounds.
invulnerables.
2 invulnerables.
Oh, Horus down to 1 wound.
Horus on 1 wound. Sons of Horus, end of turn 5. The Sons of Horus are trying to consolidate towards the remaining Castellax, pretty much the only threat left with the Fire Raptor. The War Master stands defiant against the Death Robots. He will not be brought down.
Raven Guard movement phase for the final turn. The Rhino has disembarked its tactical squad onto that objective on top of the installation. So as long as nothing disastrous happens in the Sons of Horus turn, we should claim that. The Forge Lord, fresh from his victory over the Sikaran, has moved around the side, so if the missile squad fires at him again, at least he will get a good chance of surviving. The Fire Raptor has moved up. There's a lot of deliberation, but the only unit really that's worth firing, I think, is those 3 missile launchers, because that's another victory point, and they're not in a 2-up save, so I think that's the best option. And the Thalax remain locked in combat with the Sons of Horus veteran, as does the Castellax with Horus. Raven Guard turn 6 shooting phase begins with the Fire Raptor, who unloaded both autocannon turrets at the missile launcher squad on top of the Bastion. We scored a whopping 8 hits, 7 wounds, and 5 saves were failed, so they are wiped, and that is a victory point well earned. Turn 6, Raven Guard assault phase begins with the Thalax and the Sons of Horus veteran.
Sons of Horus veteran struck 3 times, hit twice, but failed to wound.
The Thalax returning blows struck down the final veteran after causing a rending wound, and have consolidated in between the Vindicators, hoping to stay out of range of the Justerin for the final turn. Continuing assault phase for the Raven Guard, we move to the big combat with the Castellax versus the War Master. The War Master is going to strike first at initiative 6.
Yeah, Horus comes in. He's got 7 attacks because he rolled 1 on his D3. He's got to kill some of these Castellax before they hit him back. Hitting on 3s. Oh, 2 hits.
That's good. We'll take that.
Strength 7 versus toughness.
Toughness 7.
So 4s with a reroll on shred. Gone flying. 1 wound.
One 6 up required. No, so we do lose a Castellax because there is 1 on 3 wounds already. Despite losing a single Castellax to Horace's horrible claw, the 2 Castellax remaining are now going to strike back with 6 attacks total. We're going to be hitting on 5s and we're going to be wounding on 3s. And this is a fairly big dice roll, I think everyone will agree. So here it goes. Just the 2 hits.
Ooh.
3s to wound. 2 wounds.
2 wounds.
Invulnerable saves the Horace required.
Oh, both missed the box.
Let's try again. Oh, he
Horace loves
survives! End of combat for the Raven Guard in turn 6. Oh, the Castellax got 2 hits despite having 6 attacks, or they were on 5s, and caused 2 wounds, but Horace unfortunately saved them all. So it's going to go around again for the final turn with the Sons of Horus, but I really hope we're going to bring him down then. Let's see what happens.
Sons of Horus, turn 6, movement phase. The Rhino carrying the other Legion veteran squad has reversed up to the objective. The troops have got out and they are now capturing that objective for War of Lies. The 2 remaining Justerin have moved up to secure the other objective, and they will be looking to take a couple of pot shots at the Thalax. Horus remains locked in combat with a Castellax over on the far side of the board. Abaddon has moved up 6 inches, trying desperately to get to his master's side, but he won't be able to do it. Sons of Horus, turn 6, shooting. The 2 Justerin took 2 long shots, both hit, 1 scored a wound, taking a wound off the nearest Thalax.
Who also failed his feel no pain roll.
Turn 6 combat, final combat of the game. Horus with 7 attacks. Can he take down these 2 remaining Castellax? He's hitting at initiative. Hopefully he does a bit better than last time. He's hit 5 times. He needs 4s to wound with shred. 5. Feel no pains, is it?
5.
5
vulnerable
involved.
saves. Yeah, 6 ups. It's not going to be enough to wipe them, but it's going to be close. So we pass 1. So we do lose Castellax, and 1 is taken down to 2 wounds. Initiative 3 of the final combat phase of the game. The lone Castellax remaining on 2 wounds is squaring up to Horus, who is on 1 wound himself. This is quite pivotal now. We've got 3 attacks. We're going to be hitting on 5s and wounding on 4s. If we take that last wound, it's worth 2 victory points because of price of failure. So here goes, we need 5s. 1 cock dice. No, nothing. 4s. So that's it.
Very close end to the game. Sons of Horus, turn 6, end of the assault phase, end of the game. The War Master is happy with his effort. They've captured 2 objectives. They've killed a lot of Raven Guard, and now they're just waiting to see the objective points, see who the victor is.
Well, we are back, and that was an absolutely thrilling game. We now know what happens when Valdor meets Horus on the battlefield.
That's been good for Valdor.
It's a very entertaining game. Quick reaction from me. I thought that was really thrilling. I was worried going into this game that there was some severely powerful units and a lot of shooting. But do you know what? In the end, it actually worked out, and it was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to cross over to the guys now to get their initial reaction. Barnaby, tell me about your game. Top line, what do you got?
I thought it was a really close game. I was a bit scared of the beginning when the Arcus got one-shotted, but I'm sure you'll see what happens. There's plenty of back and forth, 2 challenging lists, but yeah, there was some good gameplay there.
Arcus still did some damage despite losing his missile launcher immediately. Yeah, good.
Neil, that was wild, right?
It was, yeah. That was. There were a couple of very stressful points in that, where particularly with Valdor's combat, with 2 turns in a row and he scored 1 hit.
Always stress.
Oh, horror stress! Yeah, horror stress is a real thing. I was very, very concerned when he came in. I think that was unfortunate, and I didn't finish him off. And it would have, judging by the points so far, we haven't done War of Lies yet, but
No.
In terms of kill count, taking Horus out put me worth a good couple of points there. So him surviving is very frustrating. But yeah, it was
Would
good.
have evened it.
Really close.
Now, the beauty of War of Lies, of course, is you can play your heart out. You can score as many points as you want to score in the game. But if you've controlled an objective at the end of the game, you do have to roll on a little chart, and that will make or break victory points at the end of the game. So let's do the points very quickly. The Raven Guard did a reasonable job killing 7 of the Sons of Horus units for the death toll. No Warlord, no Price of Failure, so they're currently on 7. But the Sons of Horus did a reasonable job. They took out plenty of Sons of Horus units, including the Warlord, and that puts them on 11. Now, at the end of the game, Raven Guard... Actually, we'll do Raven Guard last, just to ratchet the tension even more. The Sons of Horus captured 2 objectives in the game, and Barnaby, you've got some dice in your hand, and you're going to give me a roll. Is that right?
Yeah, so rolling twice. So the first objective, we're not looking for a 6. First roll, 4.
So you get 2 VPs, taking you to 13.
And the second one, 3.
Oh.
Avoided the nasty.
Yeah,
minus.
nasty.
All right, so that has put the Sons of Horus on 14 points. Neil, what have you got?
Not enough, I suspect. But let's see. Now I'll get the 6.
Go on.
A 1.
No victory points.
No victory points.
Oh.
Final score, 7 to the Raven Guard, but a mighty 14 for Barnaby and the War Master. So congratulations, Barnaby. A great result for your first appearance on the channel.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it was a fantastic game.
It was
really
good,
worth coming down for. Some great gameplay.
Yeah,
good.
It's going to be a rematch at some point in the future.
Oh, there's fighting talk.
Maybe not on the channel, isn't it?
Barnaby, is there a particular point in the game that you want to talk about, or something that stuck out for you? What do you got?
I think the return fire in turn 1, once the Arcus was destroyed and the missile launchers answered back by deleting the 2 Domitar.
Yeah, that was big.
Point click.
That was big.
That was a particularly good moment.
Your missile launches were particularly good. Top that bastion, firing down into the Domitar. That was so good. Some great shooting from there. Your Arcus unbelievably did some great work on the Thalax. Pipping 1 Thalax out in a turn, 3 hits, 3 wounds, 3 failed saves. That did the job, and it stuck out because you had a Forge Lord chasing it down for like 2 or 3 turns.
It did well getting the final kill on one of the Volkite squad as well.
That was big too, because he would have got that objective over the side there, which would have freed up the Rhino to go and get something else.
So despite losing its main weapon, it was still valuable.
It was good. Neil, any standout moments for you?
Yeah, losing the Domitar was big, but I think really, Valdor should have done better than he did against Horus. That was some really, really painful rolling. I'd like to have got the Caslax down into that combat sooner, but I had to deal with those missile launches because they were just doing so much damage. Horus dying would have swung that a little bit, because I think would have ended up much, much closer on death toll there. But that's the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was pretty close.
It was tricky. It would have been nice to deal with those missile launchers a little bit early on, but it just didn't quite have the range, and the firepower from the fire reactor had to be deviated somewhere else. So, a great play by Barnaby there by sticking them kind of out of the way, but in range and a good line of sight down the battlefield. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, about 48-inch threat bubble is something hard to deal with.
And did you re-roll 1s on the first turn?
Re-roll 1s on the first turn.
And relentless new deployment zones, so you could keep shifting for
manoeuvres them around.
Yeah, there's really good use of those.
Long March is a classic for the Sons of Horus, but it does them really, really well, and it paid dividends this game, particularly as you mentioned with the missile launchers. So it was very, very effective. You were right though; your roles for Valdor were a shame. I was super worried about Valdor getting involved in this combat, or in this game rather. But then when you look at this, you think, well, okay, there's Sons of Horus, there's Horus with a ton of Terminators. Probably wasn't that bad. But
if any Primarch can deal with them with the disabling strike as well, it just makes him worse each turn. And he did wound Horus initially straight away, so I thought this is going to go okay. But
2 apiece to start.
And
I was worried when Horus was losing wounds.
The Caslax did a really great job as well. Some good shooting, and then when they piled into combat and putting those AP2 attacks into the combat, peeled the Justarian out real fast, and nearly so close took Horus down with 1 wound.
We had 2 rounds to deal with that, and unfortunately he made it through.
Yeah, but successful, it will not die. Bowl kept him going.
Yeah, we passed 1, didn't he, earlier on, which was kept him alive.
It was so good. Today has been a fantastic game. It has been a bit hot and sweaty in the booth today, and we are stinking and we are sweaty and tired, but I think you'll agree that these 2 gents delivered an absolutely spectacular game. So my thanks to them. So thank you so much for coming on the channel.
You're very welcome.
Brilliant. Now, all of these photos I've taken from today will be available on the Facebook page, so please visit there and have a look at these two fantastic armies in all of their glory. But you're both available on Instagram, so Barnaby, where can we follow you on Instagram, please?
You can find me on Barnes100. However, I don't actually have a hobby account yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
See a nice picture of his sunglasses there.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my holiday pics.
Brilliant. Neil, what about you? What do you got?
So if you've seen a recent game, I'll probably go the same ground, but it's Tyken's Rift, TYKENSRIFT. And I'm mostly posting up Raven Guards, Salamanders, and Custodies more recently. So.
Great stuff. And can you talk to us about a little bit about Attrition Gaming and where you currently are at the moment with it all?
Yeah. So there's probably people watching this, I suspect, that have been to our events or have bought tickets. So we're currently in a holding pattern, obviously, because of COVID. But those events that we've got booked in will take place as soon as we're able to. We've got Centurion stuff coming up and a 2-day event and everything else. So it's going to be good. Stick with us. It is coming.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get a bit of a reprieve very soon, and we can all go back to playing games with each other and going to events, which I think we're all very excited at doing. So we'll see what happens. I really hope you've enjoyed today's game. For me, it was fantastic watching these two armies hammer it out on a 3K game. So, gents, thank you once again for making it over.
Cool.
Amazing effort. And we'll see you in the next one.